Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Marriage Be Hard podcast. My name is Melissa.
I'm Kevin Fredericks.
And on this podcast, we find some of our favorite internet couples. We bring them on here. We laugh. We have a good time. You learn about them. We learn about them. We drop some gems, and then we get up out of here. Okay? We be here for a good time, not a long time. All right. So on the podcast today, I am sure you have seen this beautiful family come across your Instagram at some point. And if not, you have probably seen their podcast on the YouTube. And that is Nut. What you laughing at?
The
On the YouTube.
So
That's
funny.
so black.
I seen him on the YouTube.
On the
I seen his
YouTube.
video up on the YouTube. My nephew showed me how to pull it up on
the
my phone.
Instagram, on the social medias.
I seen it while I was watching my program, and then they showed me the YouTube.
Correct. I'm old school. I'm sure you guys are on TikTok actually as well. I don't be on TikTok that much, but at this point, I go through phases.
We just started off this relationship with pure lies.
No. First of all, that is 100% true. I go through. Let me introduce the people and shut up. Mark and Jade Godbolt.
Y'all.
Thank you so much. Now let me address him addressing me. When I'm on TikTok heavy, I'm on TikTok heavy.
Okay, let me see your phone and,
And
see when the
then
last time you
I
watched
will
your TikTok.
back out. You can check. And then I will back on out of there. How you go to it?
Oh, now she don't know how to get in.
Oh,
there.
I was on there today because I was doing the couple.
Oh, so now you was on here today.
Because I was doing the couple.
Okay, let me check and see if she was on here last night.
Go. First of all, give me this.
Oh, now see, I'm about to be right. I'm about to.
No, you're not, because you're scrolling their Instagram. Last night I was on Twitter because you, girl, your mama called.
Mama called him Clay. I
I
would
would
call him Clay.
So, all right, Mark and Jade, we are going to begin. So we normally like to start with a little bit of telling us about your love story. So, of course, I've done a little bit of research. It seemed to me y'all been together for a long time, but y'all just got married in the midst of the pandemic. Now, I'm going to get to this because I want to know the reasons why y'all had decided to do that. But go on, take me back to the beginning of time.
You like to tell the story.
Because my story is the best story.
There we go. I love it when the man's story is the right one.
Yeah. So I was working for Nike at the time at Egan in Dallas, like a marketing rep. And I was looking to build an influencer platform because I spent time in New York and they had this is 2016. So I'm asking around like who in Dallas can I tab to see some Nike product to get them to post about Nike. And one of my friends that was an old manager from my New York time lived in Atlanta. I don't know how he saw her, what the correlation was, but he sent me her Instagram. So I check it out. I'm like, oh, I've seen this face before. I had a friend in high school, almost 10 years prior, that claimed to be dating her.
Oh, wow.
He whips out his phone. He's like, hey, I got this new girl. We talk all the time. So I'm like, who? It was her picture. So when I first see this, I'm like, this girl ain't real. Why would he send me this not real person to reach out to? But
You thought she was a catfish?
I really thought she was a catfish.
And there's okay, so the catfish part of my journey is a whole separate life story, okay?
Yeah.
That is like a whole
Wait, have you been used as a catfish a lot?
Yeah. I have an identical twin sister.
Okay.
Oh.
Since we were like 14, so I'm talking Bebo, MySpace, Black Planet days, people like stole our pictures and made fake profiles of us to the extent that by 2007, I could type in my name on MySpace and there'd be like 300 profiles that would pop up.
Oh my God.
And my name. And so we talking about 2007, and to this day, there are still like profiles out there that have like my old pictures. So that's a whole nother story.
Wow.
But people who know, the Kendall twins was like a whole thing.
And I knew, so I was like, this is fake. I'm not reach out to her. So I'm scrolling. so I see that, like she has college photos up and she has like actual videos where she's talking, which I'd never seen a video of her talking.
You like, this catfish done, this is the best one. This one got talking and everything.
This is AI before it was AI.
They done paid extra for this catfish.
Yes.
Okay.
So I reached out. I sent her an email using my Nike email with Mark.
I was just about to say, I already know. So what I'm going to do is reach out to this beautiful woman with my work email.
With work stuff.
So she know I'm legit, since she seemed to be legit.
And that's exactly what it was, because he not only sent me an email, but he also DM'd me. I saw the DM first, and I was like, "Ciao."
This is a Nike catfish. He don't work for them.
I didn't know at that time. He said he worked at Nike, but I'm like, I've been in this a long time. I don't believe nothing. So it wasn't until I saw my email and it was like an @Nike.com email that I was like, oh, okay, he's a legitimate person. All right,
So she responds. We meet up at North Park Mall, Dallas, Texas, and she was wearing, was it a green dress, like a green knit?
Yes.
It was a dark green knit, kind of similar to the color she's wearing now. And she floated to me in the mall. I'm talking about she straight glided. She had just been voting. So I saw a little voting sticker. I'm like, okay, look at her. She care about the community and stuff. Let's go. And we sat down, we talked. I kept it very business.
I was just about to say, why was y'all meeting at the park on a Saturday to discuss an influencer campaign?
No.
It was a mall.
It's
called North Park, but it's a mall.
Okay.
It was like a central location, because at the time I was in grad school in the area. So I told him, hey, I only have 30 minutes because I have class after this. And I'm an influencer, but I wasn't an influencer full time at this point. So I had lots of stuff going on, and I was like, 30 minutes, that's all you got? Like, let's talk and leave it at that. And then he stuck to my time. Mm-hmm. So we, walk away that day. A couple of days later, he texts me and is like, hey, I have some product that I want to give to you.
Normally, we order product for people. Mm-hmm. It takes some time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, nah, she's special. So I went to the office. I saw a whole bunch of other people order products to put in the bag. So I could hear.
This man has broken all the Nike protocols.
It didn't matter. That man said, this is finna be my wife.
I'm hollering through the work email. I'm ready in the closets.
100%.
I'm gonna take a flight to Oregon real quick. I gotta get some dead stock.
Yes.
I got the Marty McFlys for you. I got everything.
Facts. And so we met up 2 days later at a diner or something like that. Yeah. And we ended up talking for like 3 hours.
Yeah. Oh wow.
After that,
it was well from my side, because it's never a clean cut. Oh, I'm single, you're single situation.
Right.
So I had a whole boyfriend.
I was getting out of a relationship. Yeah, I was getting
out. Literally, I the next day we sat and talked for like 3 or 4 hours, and I was like, oh God, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. Not that girl. And the next day I ended up getting in this huge fight with my boyfriend at the time. And it was kind of like a conversation, like him trying to tell me what church I was going to go to and what I was going to do as a representation of him. It was.
He picked the wrong day. You don't even know I already was dating somebody from Nike anyway. So you don't have no shoes for me. So.
And what in the control freak is going on?
It was then when I knew that it was over. So I literally broke up with him that morning at brunch. And then I was at dinner with him that night. And we literally have been together ever since.
Wow. What year is this?
2016.
2016.
Yes.
Wow.
So we literally got together, started dating immediately, basically. And then probably about 3 or 4 months into us dating, he got a call about a job opportunity at Nike headquarters in Portland, in Beaverton, in Oregon. And he was like, should I go? And I was like, yeah, you should go. Like, what's keeping you here? Like, I'm here, but like, go do that, pursue your career. And so long story short, he goes to Oregon. I followed him a few months later, and then we lived together for like 3.5 years until we actually got married. So
y'all were shacking up.
Absolutely.
We were definitely shacking
up. And had a baby too. Yeah.
And the wedlock baby? Baby had a wedlock?
Wait. You guys were only together. She said absolutely, yes, correct.
Absolutely did.
You guys were only physically together for 3 months before you picked up and moved. Did you finish grad school first? We're going to take a break from this episode to tell you about BetterHelp. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode. Okay, let's talk about it. I think I told you guys, I think I owe you guys a check-in. I think I do. So I have started officially with my life coach, and it's been going really, really well. We actually did a check-in here recently, last week actually, and we were talking about prioritizing because I was telling her I often feel really like unorganized in my life. Like I have like so many things going on. And she stopped me and said, you have to stop. You are actually very organized. Like I gave her access to my calendar and like let her know, some of the things I have going on. She was like, you're so organized. It's weird to me that you don't think of yourself as organized. And I was like, well, now I don't know what to do with this information. And so we ended up having like a full conversation, which I know I've heard this 3,000 times before about like how hard I am on myself, that I end up focusing on the things that I don't feel like I do well, or if I don't do everything perfect, then for me, it's a complete miss. And with the help of a therapist, I'm actually able to like realize that about myself and start shining a light on the things that I either do well or things that I accomplish in a day or things that I have set out for myself that I actually do, instead of focusing on like the 5% that I didn't do that negates the rest of the day, because that's what I will do. I'm only able to do that with the help of a therapist. If I leave it up to me, I don't have enough wherewithal inside of myself to like come at myself in that way and like offer a challenge to that way of thinking. And the beautiful thing about my therapist and doing it with like BetterHelp is that I was literally in my car on my way to getting my hair done, having a therapy session. That's how easy and convenient it is. I do not have to drive to an office. I do not have to be on FaceTime if it does not work for my schedule. I was in my car. She was coming through the speaker, so I was hands-free. This is all very legal. And I was able to do my 45-minute therapy session in LA traffic and feel accomplished. And that's freaking great. I must say, that is great. If you are nervous about therapy, if you feel like you don't have the time or it's so inconvenient, let me tell you something. BetterHelp is here to cure all of their concerns. Number one, it's all online. It's designed. That means from the start of the forefront of the company's mind, it was designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. I always don't meet with my therapist on the same day or time of the week, and she's actually really cool with that. And that works for me because I have a very dynamic schedule, and being able to like cancel this week or do it on Wednesday this week, but Tuesday that week, like is really, really convenient for me. You're going to go on their website. You're going to fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/MBH today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MBH. Now let's get back to the show.
I did. So
Okay.
really, technically, he got the call about 3.5, 4 months into us dating. I didn't move until like about 6 months later, but I was going there every month or whatever it was. So I graduate from grad school, and then I'm a full-time influencer at this point, so I can do whatever I want essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm traveling and stuff, going back and forth, and then by the holiday season, I was like, "There's no reason for me to be in Dallas. Like, I'm done with school. I'm done
Stay
with
away
this.
from
Like,
your boy.
Hey, your boy
I
got her twisted up and bent, they said.
you know.
Uh-huh.
So, and then we were there for 3.5 years until we moved back to Dallas during the pandemic and got married and had more kids and all that stuff.
So do you still work at Nike?
No, so I left in 2020. 2020, I was led to get up out of there. And it was a great experience, a lot of learnings, almost 10 years with the brand.
Oh, wow.
Still got some great relationships and all that, but I actually left, started my own brand, and yeah.
Oh, dope.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
amazing. Okay, so then you guys move back to Dallas. All right. You guys do this in when? In January of 2020?
April 2020.
Okay,
At the height of the
So
beginning
y'all-
of the beginning of the
So y'all are
pandemic.
just two wild people. Okay.
Yes.
Which
Within
that was-
6 weeks, okay, we had gone to, so we were engaged like beginning of 2020. We were part of, y'all know the Knot, like the wedding platform.
Oh yes, we just talked about it. The Knot Dream Wedding or something.
Or they have like a multiple,
Yeah, like
but the Knot worldwide is like their like
Got
global
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if they still do it, but they had this kind of like crew of most influential weddings of the year. So there was like 10 couples who are getting married in 2020, and you got part of this crew. So we were a part of this crew. And so we did a brand trip to West Palm Beach. And this was like, as soon we went on this trip with the Knot and did all this like wedding stuff, celebratory stuff. And then right when we got back, everything shut down. Like the whole, world is like, okay, we're in a pandemic. So at that point, I'm like, we're in Oregon. All of our family is pretty much in Texas. We have a 9-month-old baby.
So scared.
I was just like, are they gonna close the borders?
Yeah,
we didn't know what was happening at the beginning.
It was chaotic.
Yes, I was like, I can't. For my mental health, I gotta get out of here.
I'm not gonna be stuck in Oregon. I know that.
I know that's right.
Hey, now look, Oregon.
We loved it, but our people were not there. Like our friends were there. We had a really great, tight, like married couples community. So that was beautiful about Oregon. But like everybody was like 50 feet. Like nobody was together, and it was just like, I can't do this. And we were the only ones with a little baby. So I just felt like mentally I couldn't handle it. So within 6 weeks, we packed all our stuff up and went back to Dallas. Like he drove 30 hours, me, my sister, and my baby. We flew and we like lived with my dad for a couple of weeks until we found an apartment. And that was it. Like 6 weeks, we were out of Oregon, back in Dallas.
Dang.
Marriage off.
And we called our marriage, the wedding.
Wait, y'all called the wedding off only to then turn around, have the wedding on in June? What is happening in y'all life right now? Because 2020 had enough going on for y'all to decide to have a baby, pick up and move, call the wedding off, and then turn around and say, you know what we should do?
The wedding's back on, baby.
We should have this wedding.
Yes, and we're going to plan it in 3 weeks. Like I did, okay? We were planning originally a destination wedding. We had people confirmed from Mexico. And we were like, okay, first off, we got to give y'all your money back because we don't know what the world looking like at this point. And we don't want to be, holding your hostage, all that. So we had to cancel it. And that was the whole thing for me too, because we basically were getting the whole thing sponsored, like the hotel, it was just so much, even business-wise, that like broke my little heart. But we knew that it couldn't happen. So we were kind of depressed about that for a second, and then we talked about it, and we were just like, what is the marriage about? Like, what is the wedding about? It's about us. And it's about us coming together and doing things the way that God wants us to, because simultaneously, like, prior to us getting engaged and having the baby, like, we were really trying to grow in our relationship with Christ, like as individuals and as a couple.
Yeah.
So we were really trying to change the way that we were operating. And we started premarital counseling about 6 months before we got married. And part of that was abstaining from sex for 6 months before we got married. So we like had a baby, but we stopped having sex so that we could like get stuff in order. And so we were like, why are we like making this about an event? Like it needs to be about us. So we ended up hiring a lady and we said, hey, this is our budget. We got 3 weeks, 30 people max, outside. Figure it out.
Dad's backyard.
In my dad's backyard.
It was amazing.
And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Like we didn't even have the time to like pick colors, pick flowers, but we just said, okay, Lord, we are trusting this woman to do what she can do. And it was gorgeous. Like it was literally the most perfect day. And we couldn't have planned it that way. And it was exactly what it was supposed to be.
Quick question, real quick. I want to make sure I understood something. Y'all abstain from sex after having a baby?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. So most people usually do it. Most people do it the other way. But y'all say, okay, we got the baby. That's the most sex thing you could do. Now let me get to know you before we get married. Hold our daughter real quick, but no, boy. I got that. You got to get to know me now. You got to get to know me now.
Oh, stupid.
You know what I love about this story, though? Like, y'all could have easily put a pause on everything, and y'all was like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's me and you anyway. The wedding is for us. The marriage, you are more important, even if it's outside, even if it's 30 people. If it's not a destination wedding, it's in my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people just pause and also pause their relationship. They took it as a sign to be like, maybe this ain't meant to be. Y'all was like, even if it wasn't meant to be the way we thought it was, it is meant to be still.
good.
And I think in relationships often, and this might be an example of that, you are going to have to pivot. Some things look one way and then become a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you go into it together, like, for example, abstaining from sex after having a baby, some people do that. And then as long as y'all agree that that's the thing to do. But no, I really do think that's amazing, because you hear more stories of people losing their relationships and their marriage in the pandemic. I can't think of many people that got married, because June of 2020 was still in the thick of it. I mean, Texas was a little open, but it was like we was not out of the woods yet. And y'all was like, nah, we all in. And I think that all in mindset is so important to establish and maintain a healthy relationship. So I love that y'all just pushed forward and made it work.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it wasn't, there were times that we doubted, just because during that time, especially for my wife, she had these, dreams as a little girl of having this type of dress and this type of moment and all of those things, which also caused me to be more compassionate of that, and not me. I'm like, look, we're getting this done, make decisions, steamroll ahead. But I had to pause and comfort her during those moments of like, hey, no, it's not exactly what you want it to be, but this is how God intended for it to be.
Yeah.
And bring that, because everything truly happens on purpose. So,
I love that.
There were times that it was like, we don't know if we're going to do this. Then the whole family thing, we had to 15 apiece and cut people out. And all
oh, man, I know that was tough.
Tough.
Because we both have very big families, and everybody's pretty much in Texas to a certain extent. So we never thought we would have to be in a position where we couldn't have everybody that we wanted there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, everybody that was there was purposefully there. And that's really beautiful, because even the day of, as a bride, you think you are worried about all the things going on out there. You're like, okay, is everybody there? All my bridesmaids together, all the things. And truly, my day was so peaceful. My mom, sisters, my dad, my stepmom, everybody that was there was helping out, doing everything to where I was so good the whole day. And it was really a beautiful start to how our marriage still is today, which is if it ain't giving peace, if it ain't giving joy, if it ain't giving kindness, gentleness, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
We don't allow other people to infiltrate what we have and what we have going on in any way, shape, or form. And that hasn't always, deemed well with friends and family, because we make a lot of choices and decisions that they don't necessarily agree with all the time, but we're very solid in how we operate.
They're gonna be okay.
And they're gonna be okay.
Because as long as y'all okay, the rest of y'all, and it's okay if it hurts a little bit.
And they come around.
They come around. And even if they don't, y'all gotta protect y'all first.
Yes.
That part.
Yes, that part.
Even if they don't.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was actually a really good conversation in that 20 minutes. So we normally ask, I'm trying to figure out, hold on, I just have to ask this question. Jade, when did you cut your hair?
I cut my hair halfway in October 2021 and all the way December 2022.
Okay, all right. Okay, we love a good why'd you cut your hair story. So, because there's always a reason. And especially as short as you went. It's longer now, but you went short, and you have really long hair. So tell us, what was the impetus for this?
So it's a long story, but I'll shorten it a bit, because really, truly, I was known for my long curly hair. I built myself, like I said, I had this whole catfishing scenario, time. And I was known for that, but I was really known for the influencer lipstick and curls that I became. So I was an old, OG beauty YouTuber, started in 2010, did that, and became known for my curly hair videos and stuff. So that's what I did for the longest time. And I went full-time as an influencer in 2016. So that's my full-time has been creating content, primarily beauty content. And so I have always considered myself a Christian, but I did not let Jesus be the Lord of my life.
I got you.
The last few years.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I was unlearning and relearning and transforming my mind, my heart, my spirit about everything, I came to this place where I realized that my hair had become an idol. Like lipstick and curls, the persona had become an idol. Not for myself, but for most of my audience. And so when I realized that, because it wasn't just like, oh, it's an idol. It was like, no, I'm asking if I can cut my hair. I'm asking if I can curl it. I'm asking if I can straighten it. I'm asking if I can go work out because my hair isn't right. And it was all of these questions that were like dictating my lifestyle based on my hair.
Who are you asking?
Like, the peripheral idol, myself, I don't know, somebody in the atmosphere.
Got it.
But I understand when you become, the interesting thing is that you build a brand off you, and then somewhere along the way, the brand takes over and you take a step back.
Yeah.
And if you don't keep those two, number one, you don't keep the brand in check, it will take over. Or you, the person, begin to outgrow the brand, but you don't allow the brand to catch up.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that? I was watching Patrick Mahomes, and he said he wants to cut his hair. And his manager was like, Head and Shoulders won't like that. And he was just like, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, literally like, I'm tired of it. I don't want this haircut anymore. And he's like, but you can't. So I can see if that's your brand and your platform, you're like, but this, I'm the one that got to wear this though. Like, so go ahead. I didn't mean
to, but and it has financial implications. Like there's a lot that's involved in it.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring that up, but continue.
No, absolutely. That all of that was the case. Like truth, like I had primarily worked with hair care brands. So it was like they would hire me for the curly hair tutorials and all the things. And so when I kept feeling in my spirit that I needed to cut it off, I was like, why? Like, why? I'm like the main breadwinner of our household. Like this is it. This is who I am. And it was like, no, that's not who you are. And because you've been so focused on curating the persona, like Jade is somewhere in the back, like unhealed, still dealing with trauma from her past.
Come on,
like,
Jade.
You know, and then also like becoming a mom and a wife, that stuff hit me in the face so hard because I had always envisioned the type of mom and the type of wife that I was going to be. And I got to them roles and I was not her at all. And I was like, where is this like wisdom and patience and nurturing like person that's supposed to be? She ain't here.
Right.
And it was really gut-wrenching and like hard to face the fact that like the hair was literally a barrier between me and like the growth and the person that God had designed me to be. Because like it couldn't be me choosing who I wanted. And that's what I was able to do before. So my hair was like the physical manifestation of like a spiritual like release to God's will in my life.
Yes.
And truly, you know, I cut off like most of it to like right here after I had my second baby. And I felt like that was God giving me grace and being like, yeah, I know you really need to cut all of it off, but like, I'm gonna let you live right here. But it was also this piece of like, I cut it and then he was like, no curls. So I wore my hair straight for like a year. And people were like, how dare you? Your hair was so beautiful. Why are you wearing it? And I'm like, y'all don't understand. I can't wear my hair curly because what it does to me, like psychologically and spiritually, it makes me care about what y'all think more than what God thinks about me. And like, that's gotta stop. And so like, I go through this weird like transition, and that's when I changed my name from Lipstick and Curls on all my platforms to Jade Godbolt, because I had to like let her go.
Right.
This is the Rebirth album.
It is. It is.
And you know what, though, I do love. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I was just saying, like, I really commend you, because some people, especially when that is tied to your financial, your income, people just can't. And then you end up living essentially a lie. You are acting as the persona to, for appearances, for brand deals, for events, whatever, and that becomes taxing. When at the beginning of this, they found you for you, and the title was Instagram thing was just an Instagram handle. So I commend you for just being like, look, I actually have to live and exist in this body as the person, and either the audience will stay, go, come, but I've got to be here first. And some people cannot do that. So they end up I don't want to say going crazy, but they end up warring within themselves
That's
because
good.
the brand has to appear this way. And this happens in more than just beauty. This is actually a lot of Christian influencers, artists. They actually feel one way, but they can't publicly be a certain. They know if they do this, their brand will take a hit.
Yeah.
Lecrae's the only one that I can speak about publicly because he spoke about it publicly. He learned like, if I go Black Lives Matter, I'm these white churches that I used to be able to perform in, they not having that. So he was warring with like, if I make this choice as a black man,
Right.
it's going to impact my actual family because the brand has been this one way. So I think people, it's hard to explain that to people who haven't had to live it. Because some people, I was just on Twitter, somebody was asking like, how often do y'all change your name? And like, when you're not an influencer, you could change your Twitter handle, Instagram handle as much as you want. There's nothing to do. But when it's a part of your business, you ain't changing nothing. There's SEO tied to it. There's articles tied to it. It's a big choice. It's your job.
Yes, 100%. Like, and that was the thing I think I'm grateful for now is that whenever I felt God tell me, change your name, cut your hair, I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about the ramifications of it. Like, I had a feeling like this gonna kind of mess with stuff. Like, this is gonna adjust. But like, I allow myself to believe that it could go the way that it actually went. Because I didn't think about the 10 plus years of SEO I was losing, the linking out on the press articles and the things that I had done all these years. Like, I didn't think about all of that. And also I didn't realize how many people I would lose. Like, I lost thousands of followers for like 2 or 3 years. Like, it decreased, like no growth, decline in brand deals, like literally living through like not your worst nightmare because like God still provided and we've been blessed still, but is it what it was? Absolutely not. And that's been like hard for me at times because then it's also like, well, if things ain't looking real good in the bank account, like I know what to do. I can just like pump out this content. I can, and I can make this happen. And every time I would try to turn back to what I used to do or how I used to be, like God would convict me, whether it be in a situation where I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have done that because now I'm paying for it in some other way, or simply I feel this weird like thing in my stomach that's just like, Jade, you're not supposed to do this no more.
So
like,
wait, let me understand what happened. You don't have and after I cut my hair, I got more.
No.
I was expecting, on the other side, look, you was like, no, it actually sucked and it continued to suck.
Yes. Yes, on a business front, yes. And that's just our truth, but at the same time, what God has shown us so much in this time is that there's so much more to life than like
absolutely
business and like being the it girl and having the followers and all these things. Like, yes, we still have a presence, we have a podcast, we do these things, and it is our bread and butter. But even if we don't have excess, even if we don't have abundance, like we are abundant in spirit, we have, and we have so much love and fullness in our lives in such a deep way that like you couldn't pay somebody to like give us what we have in exchange for us submitting and being obedient to what God has called us to do. And what people don't realize is that like I'm more of like the public facing part of us because of Lipstick and Curls and my background and as an influencer. But like my husband, like Mark, has been the one that has led me and walked with me along this journey. He's the one that I've seen do all of this stuff first, not in the same like way, because he didn't have to change his name and capacity kind of thing like that, but in a real day-to-day, like what does it look like to go from smoking, drinking, partying, being out in the world, doing all the things together as individuals, like we were out here, to then change like in a real daily walk to like pick up a Bible on your lunch break instead of going and hooping at the gym on Nike's campus, like making those choices day in, day out, deciding, hey, let's cut the TV off and let's do a devotion together. Even with me kicking and screaming and not wanting to do that stuff, like he's been the solid like example for me. And so that's the part where for us, I know that God wants us to do something with our marriage, because people need to understand that it's not just an individual sport. Like, and like coming out of things that are not the best for you, like you need support, you need help. And for me, that's happened within my marriage. So that's the part for even with our podcast, like we talk about our marriage, we talk about, you know, relationship concepts. And so many times, like people do not want to hear him speak. And I'm like, y'all not understanding how this works. Like
Yeah.
I am just not just I'm only a product of him, but it's been him that's helped me be who I am today. So like people love to hear me talk, but they don't want to hear him talk. And I think like I hope that people just become more open to this idea that like when two become one,
Come on.
like my voice is his voice and his voice is my voice. And we don't need to like compete with like, oh, you talked about 30 minutes this time and I'm gonna talk about no, like we can finish each other's sentences or we can allow that person to continue on the flow that they're on. So that's like the long version of like the answer of why I cut my hair.
That was great. I want to ask. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, which I'm happy you actually kind of led naturally into it. I was going to ask really quickly, what was Mark's experience with her cutting her hair? Because you also got to understand and realize the. You said God said what? Do you and God know that's tied to the bills? I just want to make sure that we're both talking about the
work
same
at the
thing.
Nike no more. Now
Come on.
listen, yeah, if you would have told me this up front,
Listen.
I would have went back to that organ, man.
Because Nike was always available. And then we had both decided not to. And now you're kind of changing the plan that had already changed. So now I just want to make sure we're all reading from the same handbook because it seemed like y'all might be reading from a different one. Because if you see mine right here, say you stay with long hair.
No, like that's very real. Even early on, like I love her hair.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time we laid down next to each other, I'm holding her, and I was like, this is my first time laying in a woman's hair that didn't itch me on the face. Like, it was so soft and plush. I was like, yo, this is different. So she brought up cutting it a few times just out of like being tired of it and it was heavy and summertime sucked and like all that. And I was always like, you know, you sure about that, babe? I like the hair, you know? Not even thinking about the business side of it, especially while I was still at Nike.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was, and I've actually never thought about this until you asked me that question. So rewind to my Nike days.
Mm-hmm.
God told me I got to Oregon in October of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
God told me to leave Nike in 2018 because I was starting to view things and rise and just, there were just certain decisions I wasn't willing to make. I wasn't fully spiritually where I am now, but I knew better. And I was like, you know what? That's not worth it. So if I have to do that to rise, I won't be here for long.
Yeah.
And so I brought that to her and she was like, do you want to like build another business? Like what? Yeah. Yeah. But it was like day after day, things would get harder and harder and harder for me creatively.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day, I talked to one of my directors and he was blocking me from a position I was going for in the creative space there. And I got off the phone and I said, hey, God wants me to leave. Now we're talking, this was November 2019. And we prayed and she said, if you feel like God is telling you that, then do it. So fast forward, how can I receive that from her?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's good, man. I
Mark.
knew you would come around, Mark.
So like,
I say he just got to be a good man. I know he is. I believe in him. Even in the past, and all this already happened. I knew he gonna make the right choice.
yeah. So like, she supported me through it, and like, ironically, during that time, there was like a whole investigation that happened in my favor, and I ended up getting paid for 3
Shut
months
up.
to work. So I got a chance to be home with my newborn and her, and like just focus on them and still get paid for it.
Yeah.
Then I ended up getting a deal with the NFL to do some T-shirts for them. For
That's
the Super Bowl.
awesome.
Paid for that.
Yeah.
So like, in that, it was like trusting God that no, it's not coming every 2 weeks the way it would normally happen throughout been used to it happening, but he's a provider. So in the same way,
Come on,
fast
Jehovah
forward,
Jireh.
her hair, deals are dropping, but like people are reaching out to us like, can we pay your mortgage? Can we bless you? Can we do? And I'm like, so it wasn't happening the way that we used to, but it continued to happen. Even being here. Like, thank y'all for this opportunity
You're
because,
welcome.
like, we don't have, y'all didn't have to do this. So, like, when we start come up, it's like, wow, God is continuing to show himself in ways that we could have never imagined. How we've been trying to hold on to, like, her hair and my Nike and still run that way. We would not be the people that we are today in heart.
You know what I
That's
love
good.
about that
That's
in
good,
heart?
Mark.
I was gonna say, I think I just, and I'm not really a prophetic person.
Come on,
the
Kev.
Lord don't work with me like that.
You
But
can
I
tap
think
in it.
even outside of money, I think
Yes.
it is such a dangerous thing to let all your choices be led by money.
100%.
It is dangerous because you end up serving money, and then we all know that the money, it cannot make an unhappy person happy. It can make you comfortable, but it cannot fix broken things in you. And I think even if y'all don't make the money, the peace that you have is more valuable. There's people with a lot of money who have no peace, no happiness, no whole relationships. And Melissa and I talk about this often. We grew up, bless you. When we were young and married, I remember we used to go to Oregon. We used to live in Tacoma, Washington. And we had no money. We would go to the Lloyd Center.
Yep.
Okay.
Because there was no taxes in Oregon.
There's no taxes.
We didn't have no money anyway. But we would be like, ooh, boy, they ain't got no taxes. If we had this, we probably could get that for the straight hundred. We don't, though, but that is nice. And, I tell this story all the time, but I love to tell it because when we didn't have no money like that, we never went without. Like, we had EBT-sponsored barbecues. A lot of our friends were on the state, and we had the grill. We went to, Melissa would get them coupon books. We used to go to the Mariners game on, like, $2 ticket day. We went to the zoo. We took our kids to the park. We played football in the park. We had, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's money can't buy that peace.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that we wasn't on the third baseline of the Mariners game. We was way up there. But when we look at those pictures, our kids are like,
Memories
whoa!
only.
Like, we was having the best time. We went outside the stadium. It's some of my most fond memories is eating $2 hot dogs after a $2 game and be like, we got 16 people in this game for like $50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we had a great time. And I think you guys have made that decision.
Yeah.
And I think you enjoy your life better in the outfield than in a box seat where you feel like you don't belong.
Yeah.
Well, Kev, get this though. This is what's dope about it too. In agreement with you, we came from, like, we were out here, we were backstage, we was VIPing, we was traveling every week. We experienced that life that a lot of people are, like, truly chasing.
Yeah.
So, like, to have that than this, we would honestly choose this.
That's amazing.
That is.
Like, because then
you're also older. Your parents now. You're different people.
Ooh, I wanted to say this. Shaq tweeted this, and I hope
Did he tweet it or did he Xer it?
I will never say that.
This is so.
No, they still say tweet, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
No,
Shaq, he pinned it. That's how much it meant to him.
They say X, but they say
I X'd this.
Yeah.
Shaq X'd this the other day. He said, the older you get, the more you realize how precious life is. You have no desire for drama, conflict, or stress. You just want good friends, a cozy home, food on the table, and people who make you happy. Wow. And this is somebody who has a $1 million home. He said this in Orlando, and he said because of the decisions he makes, he said, I feel alone in a 30,000 square foot home.
Sure did say that.
Oh.
And I would, if I could do it again, I'd rather be in a small home with people who I love. But I threw it away. And most of us like, I want a 30,000 square. And this is a person who has that money, has that house, being like, oh, I wish I just had a cozy home, food on the table, and people I love.
Yeah.
And I think we should all, you want to take care of your family, make sure your legacy's good, but not at the sacrifice of your heart.
Yeah.
As you so eloquently put it, Mark.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I think when we're young especially, we just chase and we just think like, I have so much potential and I am the greatest thing since sliced bread and I'm going to kill it and I'm going to do this and this and this. You spend, like, for us, we spent our 20s like just chasing and getting these accolades and just doing all the things, and you realize that, like, what happens is, and we have good friends that are still living this life where it's like you blink and you realize y'all are still living a very individual life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only about you. And that's where you're limited because it's just you. It's just you. It's just your success. It's just what you have. And we realize that because we've expanded, we've quote unquote, not maybe have as much as we did before, but we have more in the love and in the community and our children and our family, to where it's like, yeah, we have changed, because like when love enters your life through these different ways, it changes you in a real way. And it's sad when I see like younger people, wanting to still get all the things and like chasing after that. And I'm like, y'all, you don't understand. You're going to get in those backstages and those, special rooms and sitting at those tables and realize that the people you idolize don't even like themselves and they don't even like their lives, but they make it look so good so that you still pursue it too, because it's like it's like a trick. It's a trick.
Yeah.
And it's not, it really is. And I really, no, it is a gotcha, because you really think it's going to be great. And it's like, no, it's not going to always be great. And then it's like, even being in those positions where you're around celebrities and influencers and stuff, it's like, you don't even understand, like, these people are struggling with so much anxiety and depression and suicidal thoughts and all these things. And it's like, you don't want what they got, and you don't want to have to do what they had to do to get to where they are. So when we were experiencing that and God called us out, we said, okay, God, we coming, because this can't be it. Like, it just can't be it.
Y'all might as well start the Influencer Church of God in Christ, man.
That's good.
But what's really dope about that too is as we've torn down those idols that we both made, because I have my whole thing with sneakers and clothes and fashion and all that, that's been torn down as well. It's being rebuilt, but God is rebuilding it.
Yes.
So like we're getting back to those places, but like now, when we do get those bigger paydays, we know there's purpose for that.
Yeah.
Right. And your foundation is stronger.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're getting blessed with all these different things now, but it's like coming from a totally different place because our hearts are different.
Yeah, 100%. All right, listen
Y'all
to
were
me.
great.
Jade and Mark, great times.
Beautiful souls.
Great times.
Beautiful souls.
Love it. Please tell the people where they can find you on social media. Tell them about your podcast. This will come out probably in late November, December. So if you have any upcoming projects in maybe January, you can also let the people know that as well.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so you can find us, both of us, at the Godbolt Life on Instagram. That's our podcast platform. We host our visual podcast shows on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Jade Godbolt. On Instagram, I'm Jade Godbolt. TikTok, and just everywhere else is Jade Godbolt. And Mark is Mark Z Godbolt on Instagram, but you can find us, intermingled through all those platforms. But yeah, definitely check out our podcast. It's all about marriage and how God has really healed us both through our marriage. And
we tell it all too.
Yeah.
Like
I love it.
talk about my cheating. We talk about
Mark.
Like
Mark.
we talk about, I was out here, y'all. I'm telling y'all.
Yes.
People who are out here make the best Christians, because you done been out there in the world. You come back, you appreciate it. That prodigal son come back and love the Lord harder than the one who stayed up in there the whole time. He don't even know him like that.
They needed that grace.
You need
that salvation.
Listen.
Every bit of it. Okay?
Yes.
And she stayed, so it was like, So we talk about all of that, but also like what we're doing now to like maintain.
I love it. I love it.
Perfect.
I really quickly want to say that I was listening to, I think it was a recent episode of your podcast, and Mark said, you guys were talking about wife life, and he said, how does it feel to be, what did he say, my feelings in human form?
Yes.
I paused the episode and rewound it 3 times.
Love it. It's, his feelings, his heart made flesh.
The feelings of my heart made flesh.
That's what you said.
Because I'm the rib.
Yeah.
So as we're the rib, right? And we're the ones that protect the heart. But that is like us in form.
Yeah.
So like he, as a husband, establishes, and he is what he is. And I, as a wife, expand. So he establishes and is what is. And then I am a representation of the feelings and the joining of all those things.
Yeah.
So whatever he establishes, I expand. Whatever he feels, I'm going to pick up on it, and I'm going to put it out too, because we're one flesh.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's why
That's
men
beautiful.
like make decisions and go. Women are the feelings, and that's also why you see teams with just men, and it's like there's no joining. There's something missing that brings it all together.
Yeah.
We're got a whole bunch of women, and it's like there's no decisiveness. So it's like that's why God created us separately, but also equal.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Love it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. You guys were
so
amazing.
much.
I truly enjoyed this.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.